Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Going Rogue Podcast. Before we get into it, we're going to take a second and thank some of the companies and the people that make this whole thing possible. Sport Kilt is now officially a sponsor for the Going Rogue Podcast, as well as our upcoming games. If you're going to compete with us, or if you just love the podcast and want to help support us, use code ROGUE24 at checkout at sportkilt.com. We all need a good kilt, and Sport Kilt does it the best for what we do. So please help us, help them. Go get yourself a new kilt or maybe some accessories and use code ROGUE24 at checkout. That's ROGUE24. Save yourself some cash. The Barn Gym. If you guys are anywhere near Caroline County, Virginia, or Ruth or Glenn, or feel like making a drive and find yourself somewhere near the 95 Route 1 corridor in the northern part of Central Virginia, stop on by and check out the Barn Gym. It is the only 24-hour strength facility in that area. It has everything you need from Highland Games to strongman to powerlifting to grip sports or just general fitness. You can find them at thebarngymva.com, on Instagram at thebarngymva, a period between every word, or you can email them at ltgthebarngym@gmail.com. That's L as in Lincoln, T as in Tom, G as in George, thebarngym@gmail.com. Check them out. The Woodridge Farm Highland Games is being hosted by yours truly at Woodridge Farm Brewery in Lovingston, Virginia. You can expect a full festival with Celtic bands, bagpipers, vendors. There will be lunch, t-shirts, and awards provided for registered athletes. We'll be offering all classes and throwing all 9 events. If you have any questions, shoot us a direct message, and sign-ups are live right now on heavyathlete.com. Look, I don't know if talking about your garden's really going to get people into the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everyone gardens, okay?
Yeah.
Dude, if you garden,
I think everyone gardens is a really bold statement on your part, honestly.
That's true. I do garden.
I'm in a bubble.
Oh, okay. You know what? Maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe I'm the only motherfucker in this room that does a garden.
I have strawberries at my house. Okay, fuck.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Yeah,
This is the content.
Good, really good actually.
Were they
Really
little?
good.
Like, how small were they?
They came out pretty good size.
Like
Probably that size.
I think it says a lot about you and who you are as a person.
Exactly.
Read the fucking room. You said how small are they, not how big are they?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't tell it.
Like, strawberries you get at the store are not supposed to be that big.
Yeah, no.
That's not good.
No, I know normal strawberries.
The ones you see in those movies are not real, okay? They're using angles.
They're actually above
They're
average.
professional strawberries.
Surgically enhanced strawberries. I'm going to open the loudest snack possible while we do this.
They're actually above average, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I think a 5-inch
8 to
strawberry
9
will get you where you need to go.
I mean, it's about how you eat the strawberry. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it's true. It's how the strawberry uses itself. You know what I mean?
It's really. I hear the circumference of the strawberry counts more than the.
And the rib.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's just all how it
It's
works.
all extra these days.
Texture.
Well, the kids are. Well, no. Actually, no. I
We're
fucked
gonna be
that
in
up.
trouble on this podcast.
That's fine. I recorded all that, by the way.
That's what I was
But, okay, so, for me to briefly act like a professional, the goal of this was to talk to Nick Ponzio, but we also,
Yeah, that's what I'm
for
saying.
all the other strawberry
Do the whole
talk
thing.
here,
Yeah.
is Jacob's in the room with us, and Jacob's in the room, Josh is in the room with us. It's been a long day. So, if you hear other things going on in the background, so...
Have we started?
Yeah, buddy, that was all...
So the question is, what's that
I
like?
all know
for?
how you feel.
That's why
So
the
that was, I
strawberry-
didn't realize where my
strawberry
battery was at. So when I was
That's
like,
the
oh, it could
type of-
The
potentially...
rib, yeah, the rib of the
Just the two of
strawberry.
us, I'd haven't put that near us, because like, my typical problem recording is that Matt's voice doesn't carry.
Oh, okay.
Like, my voice will go everywhere. People
Yeah.
lined up today. It was great.
True that. Though.
But Matt, God love him, his voice doesn't project anywhere. So we get a big fancy mic, and I sit that close to him, and it all comes out even in the end. But
It's true.
hopefully this won't be an issue, and we can just do it straight off of here.
100%, yeah.
You know what? They get what they pay for, and no one's paying me shit, so that's fine.
At the end of the day, they're gonna get whatever the fuck they like, and if they don't like
You get
it,
what you get,
at
and
the
if
end
you
of
don't
the
listen
day-
to it, you don't listen to it.
exactly,
I don't
yeah,
know.
At the end of the day,
The
yeah.
4 people in this room, I don't know what better content you could ask for.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, we're going to shoot a thing for OnlyFans after this. It's going to get really weird.
The best group of ragtags you could probably ever.
Hell yeah, brother.
Ever seen.
I mean, you got a little bit of everything in the room, so I think it'll be good. But,
And Pop-Tarts.
And
You know what I mean?
These are my Pop-Tarts. If any of you touch them, I'm going to shoot you.
We got 2 Pop-Tarts, 3 mustaches.
Exactly. mustaches. There you go.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the
Technically
I think it's
4.
four. I
Technically
think
4.
it counts.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
It's not. It's not just a mustache, but it's there. It's there.
Look, if we were ranking mustaches, it wouldn't be at the top, but it's on the. It makes the list.
It's me or Nick. I'm this
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know.
For sure.
I'm only like a month into this. You got me.
Hey, you're young.
Chill out. Chill out.
Like 5 years into this. Yeah.
Man, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so the point of this
Yeah.
was to talk to Nick about his first Highland Games, coming
Yeah.
from.
Let's do it.
But like, let's assume everyone else is as dumb as me, because I'd like to, and it makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah, for sure.
So I didn't come from a track and field background at all. So I came straight into the games after figuring out I was bad at everything else. And so 2-time Olympian?
No,
Am I-
one time.
One-time Olympian
Yeah, 2021.
2021.
Yeah, Tokyo Olympics, yeah.
for just shot put?
Just shot put, yeah.
Just shot put. Yeah, just that one
It's not
thing.
as cool when it's just one thing.
Yeah, no. It could be 9 things.
Yeah, technically hell. Could be
Not
10.
to really brag here, but
Could be double digits. He's kind of a loser.
so Nick came out from Nebraska.
It is where I live now, yeah.
First ever Highland Games. I prepared for this. I'm a professional at this point.
You searched me up a little
I
bit.
did. From talking to you. That was all this. I didn't want to be friends with you. Fuck you. I just wanted content.
Follow me on Instagram just to be able to get
Yeah.
the content. Yeah.
Again, I'll make dozens of cents off of this.
No, for sure.
So-
yeah. Maybe even, 3,
But so,
4
okay,
dollars.
one-time Olympian and just finished your first time Highland Game.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there was a lot of collegiate throwing and things like that. Prior
Yeah.
to-
Yeah, so I was a 3-time All-American in college for shot put, and then kind of left. I left college kind of feeling a little bit unfulfilled a bit, and that's why I kept doing it. Had a lot of people telling me I should stop and just kind of move on to the real world and everything, and then for me it was kind of like I feel like I have more to give and more life to live in the sport, as I'm sure you guys feel as Highland Games athletes as well. So for me, it was like once I left college, I wanted to see what I could do, whatever that may be. I wanted to take it to where it would go, and it kind of just was like, hey, I've got 2 years till the Olympic trials. Might as well just go for it. And that was kind of always everybody's goal as a track and field athlete is to make the Olympics. That's our Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. So got to a point where I was like, hey, I should just go for it. At that time I was when the trials came around, I was gonna be 25. I was like, fucking live the rest of my life, and if I live the rest of my life in a cubicle, it is what it is. As long as I gave it what I wanted to give it, went for it, and luckily was able to do that. I threw for the country of Italy, obviously, and so it was really cool.
The mustache gave that away.
Exactly, yeah. The big nose and the big ears and the mustache, yeah.
You know the Italian words you're throwing out during throwing.
The big veiny
Obviously,
strawberry.
I'm speaking in fluent Italian. That makes sense. Yeah. So that was really cool, just because my family's full Italian.
I grew the mustache just to interpret for this episode.
Yeah, the mustache is basically a filter at this point. Yeah. I'm speaking Italian, but it comes out English.
Yeah, I'm catching all of it.
So I went to Tokyo, and then was an indoor and outdoor world finalist as well. And we have a thing called the Diamond League, which is like our it's like the upper echelon, like to relate. It's like a pro league for Highland.
Okay.
That's like if you're top 10 in the world, you go to the Diamond League and stuff. And so I was a Diamond League finalist too. So they have like a Diamond League circuit, and they have a final, which is a big deal to make. And so I did all these kind of cool things and everything like that. So it's been really amazing to be able to kind of use all the things that I did as a track and field athlete to move into like opportunities like this, which is really cool. Because I feel like if I was just kind of like a average shot putter and just moved on with my life, there wouldn't be so many special things that I could do. Like I wouldn't be able to sit here with you guys and know you guys and stuff.
There's no average shot putters in the Highland Games. Definitely none of those guys.
No, but that's what I mean. It's like it's cool to be like, all the work that I've put in has allowed me to open more
Led
doors
you to this
outside.
moment at the Holiday Inn Milford.
That's what I'm saying.
Fucking
Holiday Inn
Who would've
Express.
thought?
I've never heard of Tokyo, but this is the pinnacle.
I've never been to the Olympics, but I'll tell you right now, this Holiday Express in fucking Milford, Mass.
That chair looks really nice. There's hardly any jizz on it. It's
Oh my.
Who else is able to sit in this chair that's probably got, I don't
Newly
know, 30 or
renovated,
40s?
so.
Yeah.
It is. You know what? Yeah.
It's define cuckold chair. Every hotel room has one.
I would say since the renovation, there's maybe been, I don't know, 3 or 4 times you've had sex on this chair. Probably since, yeah.
Those
on
are rookie
average.
numbers. I mean, so far.
Right.
This is how every
The
podcast
renovation
ends, by
was
the
for
way.
a
The night is young.
Yeah. We got time and a lot of beer.
The renovation was about a month ago, so
Right. Yeah.
the numbers
honestly
will get pumped.
Could be impressive, depending on who you're asking.
The specific hotel room, specifically. Yeah.
So, you went from attaining that to somehow ending up in Massachusetts doing this.
Yeah.
How? Why? What?
Yeah, so me and Josh have been talking for years. Josh has been trying to get me to do this for years, and this is something, and he knows this, I've been wanting to do this for years. Like, I've been wanting to, this game specifically, but like Highland in general. Like I said, my sponsors, Not Dead Yet, which was Hate Brand Goods, and Matt Vincent's a world champion in this 2-time, and he's been telling me since the jump, like, to do it. So it's been great to kind of be able to be in a position that I'm at now to kind of dip my toe in, right? Rather than just kind of like, go through my entire
Dip
career.
your toe in as a professional.
But that's the thing. But the thing is that, well, that's the thing though. It's like, I could have waited my entire career, right? Could have went through my entire track career and then like been like, oh, maybe I'll do it afterwards. But it's nice to be like, hey, I'm still a pro, and to like dip my toe in. And now, since I've done that, now I want to dive in the deep end, right? Like, I'm totally hooked. Like, I want to. Like, I literally, after today, I'm like, I want to go tomorrow and, like, up my numbers and everything, you know what I mean? Like, be a better pro and everything. So, it's cool to have done this, to move forward with it at some point and hopefully make this, like, my gig.
Nice.
Moving on from track and field at some point, too. So.
Okay. So, Josh harassed you for years.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then, but like...
Basically, I had to get a restraining order on Josh because he wouldn't leave me alone.
But it expired earlier this month.
I mean, in a way.
I had to be so nice, and in so many words, say, Josh, stop messaging me.
So how did it come through that you ended up in the 2024 home game? Like, very specifically to this one.
Yeah.
You're coming all the way from Nebraska.
Yeah.
So,
So,
that's
I mean,
a
I can be straight up honest. Yeah, I'm currently on a suspension from track and field, and that's mainly from,
no one from the Olympics is listening to this. You can say whatever you want.
No,
It's fine.
honestly, even if they were,
I can't promise a lot of things, but I'm pretty confident about that one.
I'm telling you right now.
Okay, prior to this episode, they weren't.
Prior to the episode.
I'm telling you right now, man. Like, if WADA was listening, who gave me suspension,
Look,
I
if
would
it gets
say
me the
fucking
clicks, I'm
shit.
here for
That's
it.
what I'm
It's
saying.
fine.
Yeah. WADA's a criminal enterprise. Like, they're an absolutely mafia-based organization. Like, I think
He said through his Italian mustache.
It's yeah, exactly. I said
If
Italian,
anybody would
know. It's like the suspension that I'm on is incredibly unjust, and it's really shitty. But honestly, the way I look at it is,
It was a tracking violation or something like.
yeah,
wasn't
it was basically like I have.
If you don't want to talk about it, by the way, we don't have to.
Dude, I'm an open book. Me and Josh already talked about it the entire way when he picked me up from the airport. We talked about it the whole way here
because it's all a different
it's all
language
public.
to me, not coming from that world. So
yeah, but it's all public at this point. Like,
Yeah.
you just look it up, and so I don't mind. Like, I did nothing wrong. At the end of the day, I didn't like. It'd be different if it was like, hey man, I failed a test. I don't want to talk about it. It's like, no man, I didn't do anything. Right? I got tested. I'm a clean athlete. Like, I don't know what. That's what I mean.
Tested 3 times, right?
That's what I mean, exactly. So it's like in this whereabouts period where my phone broke and I couldn't update my app or whatever the fuck. Like, that's the craziest thing is that we've gone to a point where it's like, hey, the physicality of you throwing shot put is predicated on the fact that you have this app on your phone. That means more, right? Like, that means more to us. You logging into this app, shit that wasn't even a thing like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You logging into this app means more than you getting drug tested at these places and passing them too, by the way. It wasn't like, well, they were kind of questionable drug tests. It was like, no, you passed them.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide, right? So it's like,
it's a weird catch-22 of technology becoming pervasive.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
crazy. It's crazy how, because, everybody's got their fucking nose in their phone these days. So it's like, it's crazy how that's becomes like king, right? It's like everything, when it comes to our phones, that's the reason why it is what it is, because they know everybody's just kind of like, well, I've got my face in it all day, so I've got to let you know anytime I go somewhere. I mean, at this point, if I wipe my ass and it's I gotta let them know where I go, right?
It's a 3-second wipe. We're gonna have to come up there and take.
If it's more than a 3-minute shit, I gotta tell them where I'm at.
If you've ever met a thrower, they're all over 3 minutes. It's a low fiber diet and it's a lot of fast food.
It's a long time in the bathroom.
There was a lot of pizza today. It was
Yeah.
a whole
It's a
thing.
24-hour day. I'd say it's about 8 hours sleeping, 8 hours in the bathroom. I'd
Yeah.
say. The other 8 hours, you figure out what
Life is about balance, you know? And,
I've been really looking for that Metamucil sponsorship recently.
all right, sweet. So,
After this episode.
yeah, I was like, look, if they want to sponsor the podcast, Matt has Crohn's. We could make a fucking real run at that department.
We will take 3 minutes out of every episode to say, hey, buy
To talk about
Metamucil.
how smooth my shits have become.
Oh my god.
There was a solid chance I was going to do it anyway. Thermostat's on the wall if you want to crank it down. There's a lot of meat in here that wasn't in here yesterday.
Yeah, that's true.
It was already pretty low. I don't like it warm.
I just didn't want it to disturb the.
Well, but yeah, so anyway, like to basically
This high quality thing we got going on.
to basically finish what I was saying was that's the reason why I'm here today. Is
Yeah.
because of that. I'm not in some other country competing, and like I said, it's something that I've been wanting to do anyway for a long time. So it's I've told Josh this 100 times today. I'm so pumped to have been able to do this. Like it's great. I had mentioned this before, like dipping my toe in.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to finally do it because now it's like I like.
It's a lot of
Literally,
fun.
the lure is in my cheek right now. Like,
And I think
want to get back
now
to
that
it.
I've come up to a No Fame, I think it would be a great intro one because you have a really sweet balance of of all of that, of the cool social media presence and all that stuff. And I don't mean this negatively. The game isn't massive in terms of festivalness.
Yeah, totally.
It was tremendous in terms of athletic turnout.
Yeah.
But you also weren't overwhelmed with like the 3-hour opening ceremonies
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
have to
No,
do,
for
and
sure,
the dog herding demonstrations, and the
Yeah, it
was-
was very throwing based Highland Games.
Yeah.
there wasn't a blacksmith out back,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. It was a lot of
which is
just
once you
throwing.
do one or two are kind of neat to get to walk around and
Yeah.
see all that stuff and to
No, for
see
sure.
the dozens of clan tents and the
Yeah, it's a
vendors
part of
and
the culture, right?
Yeah,
Like, you
which
wanna
is
be able to do
Josh
that,
and I
yeah.
talked about that a lot. It's something he loves about this, and like. I'm jaded by it at this point, but it's fine. I still enjoy it. Like I like seeing it. I
Yeah,
just-
well, that's the cultural aspect, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that people get into the Highland Games, whether it's for the track and field background,
Yeah.
you know, and the athletic background, or it's for the cultural background.
yeah.
And, you know, to Nick's point, like, he's just such a charismatic person on social media.
Yeah.
That and because that's how I know, you know.
Yeah,
I don't come from a track background, and obviously we know in the Highland Games world we know Hey Brand, we know Not Dead
Yeah.
Yet,
I've
we
heard
know
him once or
Matt,
twice.
right?
Yeah.
You know Matt
Yeah.
Vincent, you know Spencer Tyler,
Uh,
you know, like it's a presence. So them seeing that is also in the track and field world through Nick, through that, it's like, you know, I think about how can I bring the best people together. And obviously, Nick being such a charismatic person, and he's a showman.
yeah.
Like when you were at the Olympics and what you were saying, like how you presented yourself. Like Ryan Krauser, I mean, holy shit. Or
Yeah.
Kovacs,
Yeah.
like whoa. But my eyes were on you
Yeah, for sure.
because you're the showman.
Yeah.
You ham it up, and I'm like, you know, from the social media aspect of Highland Games, which is like what I'm, you know, trying to do to help promote it. That's cool. So that's why I was like, hey Nick, and plus, you know, I went to high school in Italy,
Yeah, exactly.
so
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I can throw some Italian at you.
Exactly. I think that's so true because that's the big thing that we talked about in the car. But I've mentioned this to a lot of people. Like when it comes to throwing in general, like not even just shot, but like throwing. I swear, I feel like when you watch it, it's like watching paint dry. Like it's like sometimes just so mundane. It's so just bland and kind of like, yeah, I'm just a big guy who throws far. And it's like I've always wanted to be the guy.
Without a frame of reference, if you knew nothing about it, you could watch Krauser throw 23 meters.
yeah,
or
and just
whatever,
be like,
you
that's
go,
cool, I guess.
First of all,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck a meter is.
That's what I'm saying,
We won
yeah.
the war. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what that means.
We
I
prefer
measure
freedom
things in
units.
hamburgers.
Yeah. I'll use anything but the metric system.
I prefer to go chicken strips, but you know, hamburger works.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like, so for me, it's because of those guys, right? Like, those guys are so great at what they do, and that's awesome. Like, that I take nothing away from them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like we know this in Highland, right? The farthest distance wins, and that's great. That's
Yeah.
that's a part of the sport. but I want to put asses in seats too, right? Exactly. I want to be able to bring people together and be like, oh, I just enjoy what he does as a human, rather than just being like, hey, I'm just a one-trick pony.
It's a weird thing to balance, and I go back and forth. And Matt and I did our last episode, and we touched on it of like, how do you accomplish both? How do you keep festivals and existing things growing, but also up the legitimacy while we are an entertainment product? And it's this whole weird back and forth, because it would be great to say, here's the bottom line, you're not a pro, you aren't a A, you aren't a B, if you aren't doing X, Y, and Z, but at the same time, like, there's this weird X factor that exists that, like, is what puts eyes on it and is what brings money into it, and there's not a clear-cut way to accomplish one or the other, but I think it's great to start trying to bring in people from a high-level track and field world and to do all that, because that may well turn out to be the best way to do that. And that's why when I found out you were coming, I just said more of this.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be good, it could be bad. You could foul half your fucking events. I don't know, man. Like, the more people we can get in from that world, I think is just going to benefit everyone.
And that's
like you might have some people that get pissed about it, and that's their problem.
And that's fine. Like I have no problem. Like, me and Jacob talk about this many times. It's like, yeah, you're probably gonna have people that get pissed. And I'm like, that's fine, man. Like I just want.
There's some people in kilts mad about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
I want to be able to kind of elevate all of it, right? It's not just shot putting. It's not just Highland. It's all of it, right? It's strength sports. I have such a passion for strength sports in general that I want to bring all eyes together and like have like I feel like it's not just a Highland community, it's not just a shot put community, it's a strength sports community.
Totally.
Like in my eyes, it's all powerlifting, it's all that stuff like together, right? Like I have followers from all realms.
And at the end of the day, it's never gonna hurt anything in the long run to have more eyes on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't
people
hurt.
That way,
there's
never
no way.
Be a problem.
If you're ever upset because more people are watching, you're being selfish about it.
Well,
like at the end of the day, if you're like, oh no, they're watching him, not me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't think this was the John Smith games. I thought this was.
Well, it's funny because Jacob made a point about this. He was like, if you have a problem with it, then you just need to be better. Like there's nothing to be said other than the fact that you just need to be better at what you do. Don't make it a jealousy thing. Like just make it.
Say get good.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like just get good, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Like there are some people that do make a very intellectual argument about entertainment versus merit. And I will sit down and have a discourse with those people all day long.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that go, no, it's entertainment. And then they stomp out of the room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you just don't want to do
one
good.
trick pony, right? They're just
like you don't
want to. Yeah. One way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all they know. They're just like, yeah, it's just got to be this way. It's just got to be this way. It's got to be merit. It's got to be. It's
I think it's more complex than that. And I'm immediately a little turned off if you have such a concrete stance.
Exactly.
Ask me tomorrow, and I may have a totally different opinion. Like I may change my mind.
Well, just because you're good and have the numbers doesn't mean you're not a dick.
Which I'm not good, and I'm a dick. So it's a real interesting breakdown.
Well, like it's kind of like a double negative with you, so it makes it positive.
Pro.
Yeah, exactly. The best of both worlds there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this is the point that I, as an athletic director, and newer to the game, but it's just this has been thrown on me, and this is what it is. I care the most about character. It's great to have a good show like we had last year. We had like 17 pros, and that's cool. And you get, the numbers were high and all that. When it comes though to being an athletic director and the amount of hours that I put into the game and my wife put in, that are the people around us, the volunteer, I would rather be around nicer people. Now, I can't speak for like Pleasanton, Grandfather Mountain, all the really Alaska huge games because they're massive things. But since home games is so I can control who comes to an extent, that it can be athletic focused, that we can celebrate strength. And that's why I love the Highland. That's why I wanted to have the Team Highlander here too. It's like, and then bring in the best of strength from powerlifters, strongmen, everywhere.
Yeah.
Just come in and have a party of strength and celebrate strength. And it doesn't even have to just be Celtic culture. It can be like the 12 bells, the sandbags over bar. That's from Spain. Like for me, that's the goal. And I really appreciate what you said about trying to. What did they say? Rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is one of the reasons why. Like when I told some of the big ADs that Nick is going to be here today, they were like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah, exactly.
They were like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
And, and they were like, okay, we need to have conversations, because, this is what a lot of the big ADs, Pleasanton, ex-Loon, they're like, I want to bring in the Olympic guys because it brings eyes.
We don't have a standardized rule book. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's true.
stopping you.
This is the thing of so the rules are, if you get an invite to go pro, you become a pro.
That's our system.
Here is your invite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Must be fucking nut. No.
Andy Webster's talked about that before. About that's why the open model is so good. Is that anyone from any background can come and bang with the big boys if they want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you want to be mad about it, go register for those games and then just try and take money from them. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And you might. I don't
know.
Cool.
For sure.
Yeah. It's so factional, and we talked about this in ours. But it's really cool to see how this level of athletic capability come together.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming out, Dave.
And that's what I was saying. It doesn't. And I told you this a bunch of times on the ride down here. It didn't even matter how I performed in the entire Highland.
That
just
showed.
Being,
No, I'm just kidding.
honestly, honestly, it didn't exactly. In the whole entire Highland, of course, I wanted to. As an Olympic athlete, you want to.
Yeah, you don't want to do bad,
right? Exactly. I take third place to Jacob, and I'm like, I
had a fine day today, and I'm not happy I took second. That's
exactly. Yeah. Don't you dare see me at another games, Jacob. I don't get it. No. But seriously, that's. But it's more about you had mentioned the character of it, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things I could say about Highland that I guarantee I probably see at most games is that everybody's just having a really good time and enjoying everybody, and that to me is what draws me to Highland more than anything, right? I love strength sports, so that's what draws me in. But the fact that I can come to these and meet guys like you and be like, this is just such a fucking good time. That to me, that's worth more. I do my job is so stringent and so professional, which is
what is your day job?
It's shot putting.
Okay.
What I'm saying, that's my job. I'm literally as being a pro athlete.
I'm so used to our pros also have other jobs.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing is
I don't have a job.
That's what I'm saying. So
you're
crazy. It's crazy that it's Jacob's like, I'm a pro and I live in my car.
You're still drunk.
Okay, that's previous.
Exactly.
Professional that's different.
That was 6 months ago.
It's in the past.
Exactly. But that's the thing. It's like that being my full-time job. It's it's so different in the sense that me and Jacob mentioned, or I talked to him about this a lot today. Everything I asked him, I was like, hey, do we have to be ready to go? Because when I do my job, it's it's everything down to the minute.
Yeah.
Because we have TV and stuff that oversees that we have to
Well, you guys also have a rule book, which must be really cool.
We have shit we have to adhere to. There's a roof, there's a ceiling we have to adhere to. So with this, it was great. Not that it was just fucking willy nilly. It was just kind of hey, no, we want to have good performances, so we want to make sure we do what we can to do it. It's so different. In track, you could fucking bomb out of everything and they wouldn't care. They'd be like, I don't give a shit. This was just the way it was. You didn't do your job. Get the fuck out of here. Here, it's no. We want to see you do well. We want that was the thing.
You want to be set up for success because you're trying to sell an entertainment product at the end.
But you want to grow it too, right? It's
to an extent. You're trying to do both, but that is a portion of it. Is
you want to grow the sport, right? If I came here and it was super fucking stringent and I didn't I bombed out of every event, I'd be like, what's the point of doing that, right? I want to be better at it, but it's just I bombed out of it.
You need to taste a little bit of it.
Exactly.
You need to, there's got to be just a little that goes, it could be something really cool.
That's the thing is like today I bombed out of the sheath, but it was I felt good about it on my last one, and I was like, oh fuck, I want it. I had to taste
now
it.
I want
it again.
You tell me, my last sheath pull
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
My last one sat on the bar and then rolled forward.
But that's what I mean.
Felt like it sat up there for 3 fucking seconds, and then I was like.
All the events, I felt like I said the same thing at the end of it. I was like, if I'd had 3 more. If you'd give me 3 more, I'd be so much better. It's you just get that little bit, and then you're like, oh, fuck, I want it again. Yeah. And that's what brings you back. Yeah. But that's what kind of... And that's
what I was doing all day.
First one's free.
That's the thing. And that's the thing that I feel like is so different with athletes like us. Because there's most athletes aren't that way, right? They're like, if I get it done
the vast majority aren't.
Yeah. And for us, I feel like all of us, the reason why we're all kind of similar is because we're like,
Yeah.
One again. And that's what
what's the discourse we had talking about the people that are in it solely from the cultural side as opposed to the athletics. You have some people that are just hey, I like being in a kilt, I like being around clans, and it's a fun Saturday for them. And that's great. You still need those people, because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's 60% of your market, if not much larger.
For sure.
Like, it has to be
Especially
there.
at the big festivals.
You know? Like, but you're not going to have the upper part without the people that just want to be able to grab more.
I think all athletic directors want to see your caliber of athlete come in like that.
Yeah.
Because it's a it's legitimizes in a way.
For
like,
sure.
Look, we all know the Spencers, the John Van, like they're amazing athletes, right? But like when I was able to tell WBZ Boston, we got an Olympian coming.
Yeah.
Ears came up, you know, okay, what's happening in Milford now? You know, like that says something for the sport. It helps.
Yeah.
The other thing too that I think is amazing is like, okay, you also were on Team Cerberus for the Highlander, and we had you, of course, throw the shot.
Yeah.
And then what you were saying though, which I think would be really fun to talk about, is you're getting the grip on the Braemar and how that changed your throw and the opens and a natural open style.
100%. Yeah, and that is another thing. It's just like what we were just talking about, like the fact that like I felt like I didn't throw as well as I wanted to in those, and I want to do it again. Like if I could just figure it out.
My ultimate goal is just to walk through each event with you here in a second. I wanted to get through the intro part
exactly.
So that You don't know about this podcast. It's kind of a big deal. So typically when Matt and I do reviews...
It's got tens of viewers.
There's dozens of us, sir.
Exactly.
But so typically what we do for review, and I'll walk you through it, is we're just going to go event by event.
That's
you just
cool,
tell me how it broke down for you, because I
Yeah.
think that's what people like to hear about, and it's easy for them to digest. So now that we've gotten kind of that intro stuff out of the way... well, you guys threw traditional order most.
We did stone
if
first.
You know,
it got a little sloppy towards the end, but
it was an odd. It was odd for me. I've gotten so used to traditional order that then it got funky.
Yeah.
But for you guys, you threw traditional order.
Yeah.
So you started with stone. So Braemar.
Yeah.
You guys had a 23 plus Braemar,
23.
right?
I think the first one was 22, and I think we jumped to a 23. I think at the end. I'm not really sure.
For you with the extras.
Yeah, with the extras. I'm sorry. Yeah, so mine was different. Yeah.
But no. So let's walk through that. How did that feel? How did it go? What did you throw? Let's just.
So I don't remember exactly what mark I threw. I think it was like 39 or something like that. But what happened was, so a normal shot put is 129 millimeters, so it's small. It's honestly like for most.
What's that in inches?
129 millimeters. Like essentially, you could just get basically 3 fingers on. Like your pointer finger, your middle finger, and your ring finger. You can get it on.
My ex-girlfriend got it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Shut up. All right.
Wait, is she with us anymore?
No, that was the ex-wife. That's different.
Maybe I know why now.
All right.
Anyway, sorry.
So a certain number of millimeters.
So no, so it's like I don't know. It's probably like 4 inches wide, maybe 5 inches. Right. So like to me, like incredibly above average. Like maybe
it's almost too much.
I was just saying.
It
like, honestly,
seems like overkill.
It's something to brag about for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
like you could probably take multiple inches away and be like, I'm still good.
Yeah, I'm still pretty happy with this. It does the job.
It still does what it needs to do.
Okay, all right. So.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm sorry. So I had to throw that in there because it's that kind of part.
You had to throw it in there.
Yeah.
So it's easier to tuck in your neck, and the Braemar is probably 200 to 220 millimeters wide. Like
it's
like
much wider,
especially
the one we were throwing today. Is just a.
It's a big one.
It's a bigger one.
So it's just hard to put in my neck. Like that was the thing I was.
So where do you typically hold your shot? I mean, you're a rotational shot thrower, right?
I put it. So I'm a rotational shot putter, and I put it like right. This muscle right here on your neck.
This is an audio medium, buddy. You're going to have to...
No, I'm telling you this.
Oh, okay. So he's motioning directly below his earlobe.
Below my earlobe. That is called a sternocleidomastoid. Right
fucking... That might as well be millimeters, buddy. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not freedom units. This is a... No, that's a sternocleidomastoid.
Also not a doctor.
Yeah. That's where I put it. It's basically in the thick of your neck. It's like right in the middle, basically. But it's under your earlobe, basically. And so I put it there, and so I was trying to put the Braemar there. And the difference between, like, holding something that's like I said, like...
Yeah. Instead of your fingertips nearly being at your neck, you're now...
And now it's like...
3.5, 4 inches away from your neck.
So it's really far away from my neck. So, like the thought of, or the feeling of, like, having to try to throw something from this massive difference was just tough. Because in shot putting, the put itself is a flick off the fingers.
And it's
basically
thumbs down, elbow
Thumb
out,
down,
and
elbow up. Yeah, and you're putting the ball, and it's easy when it's small. You can get your fingers on it. The Braemar is so big that for me, like as a shot putter, once I put it in my neck, I basically just had like fingertips on it because it's hard to my flexibility and stuff is different too. So it was so different.
If your arms
that
were
way.
smaller, it'd be easier.
Yeah, that too. If I didn't have 22-inch biceps, that would. No. But if I had,
I don't know
more,
what that problem is.
If I had more flexibility in my wrist and my arm itself, it probably would have been a little bit better. But that's also, like I said, the fact, like if I'd have thrown the Braemar 51 feet today, I'd be like, yeah, that was just easy. But the fact that it was like difficult and I only threw 39 makes me want to
I was about to ask what you threw, so yeah.
Yeah, so but that's the thing is like I didn't want to come into this. I got to preface this whole thing with this. Like I know we've been talking for however long, but like I think there's a common misconception with Highland, right? There's a Highland misconception that it's just a bunch of failed throwers and it's easy, and if you're an Olympian, you just come in and just fucking wreak havoc and like
and you took
just
third
just
today?
take the shot. I took third. And
In a class of 4?
Third, honestly, no, in a class of 3.
Oh,
I took class of
3.5. Sam.
So we could
That's
say
true. Yeah, Sam.
So there's no way of saying you took last. Yeah.
That's a very, very good way of saying I took last. And honestly, if I would have been in a class of probably 10, I probably would have taken somewhere like 8th or something like that. Like it wasn't like I took third out of 20 guys. It was like, and that's the thing. And I think this is something. One of the things I love about it too today is that this shows that this needs to be respected, right? This isn't just something that it's just like, hey, anybody can come in here if you're a strength sport athlete and just do really well. I mean, there were some girls here, some other guys there that were like incredible strength athletes that like just didn't do well on other things. And that's the thing. Like being a Highland athlete means that you're really good at a lot of different shit. You can't just be like, I shot put really well, or I deadlift really well, and be like a fucking, a
Keep telling us how good we are. Hang on, I gotta.
But it's serious though. Like it's serious because I've had a lot of guys in the past that were like incredible shot putters. I'm like, oh, Highland's just like failed throwers.
We're washed up people.
Yeah, they're failed throwers that could never make it, and it's not that way. And one of the things that I love about today is that like that came to fruition finally.
Some of us never even tried to throw.
There's honestly, I'll be honest. There's probably a part of me in the back of my brain that was like, I'll probably do really well, right? Like, I'm a good shot
dude.
player.
I didn't even throw in the Olympics, and I thought that at my first game.
That's what I mean.
I'll
probably do pretty good. That's what I mean.
I listen to a podcast. I get it.
I've watched two YouTube videos.
I watched 3 Matt Vincent videos. I'm feeling pretty prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
I'm a fan.
I could pick Dan McKim out of a lineup. I've got this.
Exactly. So that's kind of the thing is that like to me. In the back of my mind, I probably even still, realistically thought, oh, I'll come in here and just wreck.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, this is something to be respected because it's not just something that's that way, right? It's not just like, hey, if you're good at whatever, right? Let's say you're a good fucking hammer thrower. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, anything. Like, you can't just come in here and be that way. It's just, and I'll tell everybody, now that I've done a full one, everybody, like if someone's like, oh, I bet, dude, you're wrong. You're wrong. Like I shit you not. Just the fact that we threw on grass made a huge difference. Right?
It's wildly so different from concrete.
It's so different. Like it's not what you think. It's not just like all the events are the exact same way as all the other stuff.
And
it's
the more
so
games
different.
you do, and the more different Braemars you touch, and different opens, and
that's what I'm saying. It's not like you're just gonna have what we had today. It's all different. It's all different. You go to some place. You were telling me this earlier, Jacob. You were like, some guy threw his record like with this tiny little obsidian stone. Like sometimes you just go to these places and they have great.
Yeah, Mass is known for having a fantastic stone.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like people know that way. Yeah, like the caber today was kind of squirrely. Sometimes they're not that way. It's all different. Like and that I think is such a cool variable of the sport, right?
Or you find ADs that you like versus ADs you don't like, and you're like, I don't want to go fucking spend a weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you have guys like Josh who actually care about the athletes, or you have ADs who are just like, I don't give a shit. You just figure out what you got to do, right?
And it's to the same point, like Matt, who I typically do these with, coming from the level he was at, he was like, if I had shown up and just won the first one outright, he's like, I wouldn't still be doing this.
No,
I'd have been bored immediately, and I'd have fucking left.
If I would have just came out here today and actually did what like I kind of thought I would do, which is just kind of wreck the field, it's like, what's the point of
Why
doing
would you
it
show
again?
up again?
Exactly. Yeah. It's
like, well, that was
hey,
a
Josh,
Saturday, and then,
hey Josh, thanks for the opportunity, but like that's about
when's
it.
that flight back?
Dude, exactly. Yeah. It's like no. That's the fact that I took third out of 3.5 guys to me is like that's what makes me want to come back for more.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a cool thing. You know what I mean? I'm not the only guy that's that way. So to kind of circle back, like with the Braemar, it's all the kind of the same thing, kind of leading into the open stone, right? It's all the same thing, right? Like I didn't throw as far as I wanted to.
What'd you end up
with the open stone? I think it was 54 and some change or something.
And did
that.
Did you end up spinning with it, or how
I did spin with it?
Okay.
Yeah. Same kind of concept, right? The open stone, we throw 129. The open stone was probably 170.
And that was if you threw the same one we did, which I would think you did.
Maybe.
It's a relatively smaller one. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's
it
smaller
actually
stone.
that is a nice open stone.
For
You'll
sure,
go to some games that just have these bricks,
a pyramid, a potato. You know,
and you can't like it'll feel good in your hand, and then you try and tuck it, and it's just weird, or vice versa.
And that was kind of the thing too. So I was throwing it the whole time, right? The listeners can't see this, but I was throwing it like
all of his fingers are together.
If my hand is straight up, I was throwing it from the side.
Yeah.
Right.
Next month we'll have video. You just came in too soon.
Yeah. So basically, if you're looking at like an egg-shelled stone, I was holding it in the middle, and then on my last throw, Felicia, who was our judge, was like, "Hey, you should try to throw it from lengthwise," and I was like, "Oh shit, really?"
Had I known you were throwing it sideways,
yeah,
I would have told you.
Oh, you mean the guy that didn't know to throw from the side on a wing trig? Is that
you had to help me with that. I'm a bit out of sorts. I was excited. I got to throw it this guy.
That's the funny thing. So I was throwing it the whole time, and 3 of my throws were just like 2 of them went to the side, and then one of them like it came out of my neck funky, and I tried to catch it, and I couldn't.
Well, I tried to. Side note: I watched one round of the pros throw a Braemar, and I went over to Jacob, and I was like, "You guys are throwing from a wing trig, measuring from the center. Why the fuck aren't you throwing from the side?"
I guess in the
I think
he was like,
mentioned that.
"Oh, right,
yeah." I think you mentioned that. You were like, "You should throw from the side," and I was like, "I think I'm gonna go from the center." Yeah.
I guess in the back of my head, I was worried that I was going to get measured off the wing, which that is.
You're not.
It sucks. And as Felicia, I was like, "Are you going to measure for the middle?" She's like, "Yeah, all the middle every time." I'm like, "I'll give it an attempt." But how I throw stones is my first one's a good one, and it goes down from there. So it didn't improve; it just went down like half an inch. So how did
Instead
that initially?
if you would have done your first one from there, buddy, you'd have been cooking.
So that's basically what happened. I threw from the side. 3 of my throws. I mean, out of 6, because I took 3. Then obviously you get 3 at the end if you want to take them. And so my 3 of those 6 were like just basically nothing throws. And then my last one, I turned it on its top, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, this is what I should have been doing that whole time.
That's what happened. So I threw my best throw of the day, which was like 54.9 or so. I forget what it was exactly.
I think
53.7.
Jacob's like, I haven't scratched it in my thigh.
Something like that. That's the thing is, you take so many throws all throughout the day, you forget the marks. Like,
you do.
Shit, I forget.
100%. I can tell you ballpark what I threw today. I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but that was basically from like turning it and being like, "Oh, okay, now I finally get something." But the whole day, Braemar and Open Stone, because they're so big, like I had mentioned, with the flick of the shot, I just didn't get any of that. Really, I just kind of like threw my arm.
It's hard to stay connected to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I've never done either of them, right? So all of the events obviously I haven't done, but like throwing a stone that big I've never done, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, where I was like, "Oh, I'll just show up and it'll be okay." It's like, no, you have to feel something like that. You can't just put something that big in your neck and all of a sudden, So as many people have said today, that's what she said.
Yeah. You guys threw out of a wing trig all day, right?
We did.
Yeah, so that'll be a whole other adjustment thing. Is if you go to a game that's got a standard trig.
Yeah, exactly. Just
we
straight,
threw over for the
or a big box trig.
The fuck a 6'9" trig.
How wide do you think a wing trig is? 6'9".
It's 6'9".
What are we arguing about then?
We have to have some standard somewhere that for the love of God, you can't just keep.
All right,
because then you go because here's what's happened. No. We will go down this because then they go 6'9", and then they go, well, let's add wings to the 6'9" trig, and now all of a sudden we have an 11-foot, and it's fucking madness, and we can't do that. We have to draw a line in the sand somewhere, and if you don't think that you could, I'd have thrown a 70-foot lightweight. That's a lie. But like if I had,
I've been wanting to do this all day. I wanted to throw this out there.
It was. Go listen to me and Danny's episode. Yeah. It's dumb. Our second one.
These are fighting words about the 6'9". It's a beautiful trig. Okay.
I'm sure it is if you like to cheat. All right. Fuck that. All right. So anyway.
But here's the thing, though, that when he went to then with Team Cerberus, to throw the shot over crack 60.
Nice. Well, it's almost like you were used to it.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like, so we could kind of lead into this next thing. Basically, what happened was I threw the stones. We kind of did the rest of the events other than the hammer and the sheath. And Josh was like, "Hey, when we do the open stone for the Highlander, do you want to do that?" I was like, "Heck yeah!" Like if that's a shot put over there for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I would feel really good.
So we went over and did that.
You mean when all the strongman athletes are throwing it 32 feet? Yeah. You were like, it'd be really good to...
It'd be cool to, like, I don't know, blow the brand in the water.
Yeah.
Double their distance.
I think you get to fuck their moms.
Yeah.
Automatic.
God, I missed out then. There were so many moms I could have shagged.
Prima nocta. That's the
It's
rules,
called
dude.
Milford for a reason, okay?
Fuck! All right, I'll put back next year, Josh. You already took me in. Yeah.
The next game is in Cougarton.
What a place.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically, so like the stone or the shot put that we threw was almost stone-like because I was telling you this. It's like very kind of like, it's got divots to it. It's not.
It looks rough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely like a.
It's like a bunch of guys threw it at a field.
Exactly. Yeah, it's almost like you throw on grass or something. Right?
Weird.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it was cool, but yeah, that was. I don't know what the exact distance was with that. I think it was
60 and change.
Yeah, almost 61 or something
Yep.
like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have it right there?
For what? Oh, no. Not
No, you better have that.
No, he's looking at porn.
Yeah.
No, I'm prepping for the next event, so I gotta get that.
he's
pulled up.
touching himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, Jacob's
Sorry, excuse me.
Why do they both have mustaches?
But yeah, so that was cool. It was cool to kind of get another opportunity at, like, you know, something that was more relative, because that shot put was probably, I don't know, 132. It was a little bit bigger than we normally do than the normal shot put. But yeah, it was great because it
Like, you were in the mood, so it felt fine.
It was definitely above average still.
Yeah. Good for it. All right, so then you guys did you throw weights after that?
Stone, we did, yeah. Then we did the heavyweight for
How'd that
distance
feel?
as well as this lightweight.
That
The
was the old 56.
Heavyweight, funniest thing is I don't remember his last name. What's Tony's last name?
Trapeze.
Gabagool? I don't know.
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
You're the Italian in the room. What
Well,
the
I
fuck
said I
do
didn't
you
know his
mean?
last name. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know his last
Put
name.
English on that. Trapeze.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was talking to Tony, and he goes, "You're gonna fall on the heavyweight for distance."
Yeah.
And I go, "I don't know about that." And he goes, "You're gonna fall."
Dude,
First
you're
throw,
going
fell.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First throw, I fell.
A little tuck and roll.
And what was funny was it was because of the way I was throwing it. So Jacob was like,
Were you doing that one backwards too?
He was
threw
throwing
it
like a
backwards.
normal
Jesus
person.
Christ.
Yeah. Can't handle it.
I was telling Jacob, I was like, man, I just feel like I should be facing away from the trig.
You're
like,
wrong.
Away from the board.
Do you see how everyone else isn't doing that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
But honestly, okay, so I fell, and then I don't know what I threw in the heavyweight. It wasn't very good.
Pull it up, Jacob.
It was
Punch the number. Hey, Jamie, pull that up.
it's 26, 8 inches.
Hell yeah.
26.
A nice big scratch on the first one.
Bro,
Yeah,
you'd have
exactly,
fucking
yeah.
mopped a B class.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it wasn't very good, but it's basically because so the first one I did 2, and I fell.
Okay.
Two turns.
2, but you started backwards, or did you
Started
start
backwards. And then the second one I started
By the way, folks, when we say
forward.
backwards, we mean he's facing away from the throwing
Yeah,
area.
exactly. So I
almost
started-
like a discus throw.
I started backwards, and then I started forwards, and then I started to the side. So on the heavyweights, I did all 3 different ones.
Yeah, he goes every way.
I play for all teams. No, kidding.
It's June, buddy. You can do whatever you want.
It is 2024.
Yeah.
No, but so, and then when the lightweight came around, I told Jacob, I was like, fuck, I just think the one from the back is the way to go. And he's like, I've never seen it. And I did it.
I told him it's a dumb idea,
Yeah.
but I believe in you. Go ahead.
Exactly, yeah. And so my first throw, I fouled, but I fouled from my foot because my foot came down the line.
Okay.
But Tony told me it was over 60, and I was like, oh shit, maybe that is the way. So I just did it for the next 2, and I ended up throwing, 59 or something like that?
We're going too fast. I don't have that
I
pulled
mean,
up.
I think it was 59. I think you told me.
Yeah, I think 59 or something.
Here's the thing.
yeah.
I can't talk shit because you technically outthrew me, but I'll talk a little shit. You're still wrong.
Exactly,
I'm not going to get this opportunity to tell you that a lot.
Well,
That's
see,
wrong.
the thing is that I was basically, what I was doing was I thought, I'll just do 2 turns. Like, I'll just do, like my shot put turns, basically.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to get the weight in front of me, right? So the thing is, I think a lot of guys, I was watching some of the AMs and stuff throw, and they were turning away from me.
Calm down. No.
They're turning away. They're turning away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stain.
You didn't see me
Listen
throw
to Stain.
shit, but
Yeah,
go
I
on.
was just, a lot of guys like you were throwing like shit. No,
Yeah.
but the thing
I
is,
have a
like,
2x4 in my car that says second place, sir.
there
It
are a lot
almost
of-
said third.
A lot of guys were peeling off of it, which don't matter what level you're at, it's not right.
Yes.
So I knew I had to get it in front of me, and like when I was doing it, a couple of my turns were like way left side. It's another one of those events, like I said, I had never done anything
And 28
like that.
doesn't sound heavy until it's spinning around you.
For
and
sure.
then you're like, balance becomes really fucking hard all of a
I'll tell
sudden.
you, for me, even like when Josh told me that it was a 56, I was like, that can't be that heavy. And it's like, what the fuck? Yes, it is.
Until it's 3.5 feet away from you.
Until you get it around you, and you're like, oh, Jesus, So I threw the lightweight, and
59.10.
Yeah, 59. Yeah, it was just under 60.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, so it was like, it was one of those things. Like I said, it was just kind of like, I was just trying to figure it out. It was hard to even put energy into it when I didn't even really know what to do.
Yeah, if you feel disjointed, it's never gonna.
Well, it's for all of these events. One of the cool things about Highland is that all the events kind of have a different technique, right? Like, so every single event.
Heavy and light are horribly different.
You're not, like, it's not like there's 8 events that include a stone in your neck.
Yeah.
All the events are different, right? You have a stone, you have the lightweight, and then you have the weight over bar, you have the hammer, you have the caber. They're all different. So they all have different techniques. So all of these things I had never done before. So even the lightweight, which you feel like, I just kind of grip it and rip it. It's not that way. There's technique to everything, and that's the only way to get it to really go.
It's not 2 turns; it's a setup and a sprint. It's
exactly.
It's not a rotation.
The rotation
is a byproduct, and if you don't know it and you look at it, you're like, oh, they're spinning, and you're like.
When I say I was doing 2 shot put turns, that's not right.
Yeah,
I was just doing that.
Well, it's because we don't call it shot put for a reason. That's
oh my god.
It was nuts watching it. He had one foot on the ground the entire time through both turns.
Exactly.
And like
kicking out wide. I told him, what's happening?
I told him, like, the ground contact on that was insane.
Exactly, yeah. I'm just basically pivoting on one foot the whole time.
What's it like to get your right foot to turn? I've been chasing that for 5 years.
That's twice before we got to the end.
I was going to say, that's the only thing that I had going for me is feeling my right side go.
That's what happens when you do everything but the thing I do.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so that's weights. Hammer, how did that...
No, next we went to caber.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we went to caber. Yeah, so we went to caber after that.
Who was running that? No.
Yeah. We went to, the thing is we went to, because there was a lot of groups out there, like, of different levels and stuff.
Things are going to get funky, ladies and gentlemen, because, like, we had, probably 5 flights? It was at least 5, if not 6.
Yeah. A couple of those groups are pretty big, too.
Yeah. And then you had the Highlander who would come in and use a trig and then leave and then come back and use a height standard and then leave. So it got a little Western there for a minute.
So that's kind of what happened with us. We threw the caber after that, and the caber was funky.
Yeah.
So, and like, not in a bad way. It was just I had never touched one, right?
So y'all had one that was not horribly tapered.
It was a cigar.
It was pretty uniform. It didn't look insanely long.
No.
All things being considered, but it was really uniform. How did the weight feel for that one?
It was about 18 feet, 125 to 135. So it wasn't the heaviest thing, but it did have some length to it. It curved every which way at some point in it, so you had to find like that right balance.
Yeah.
Walking it up, it will just roll right out.
There was literally a few times I was doing it. I had to like. Instead of holding it like in the nook of my hand, I had to hold it like in the fingertips of my hand because it would turn on you.
Because it was a shot put. No, it's gonna make everything shot put.
Yeah.
We tried to flick the caber off his neck. It didn't go well.
It was a good stick. Like it was genuinely a pretty challenging one because you just couldn't read it. Like it was like sometimes like cabers like you have to read them. You got to know like how fast do I got to go? Do I have to run or like can I kind of like step into it pretty good? And the big fat taper is going to carry it over. But this had no taper, so you had to run as fast as you can, and hopefully you don't slip on that plant.
Well, and I told Josh this. I said I kind of was under the assumption that this may sound really dumb to Highland Games nowadays, but I was under the assumption that a caber was basically like they took a tree and made this straight pole. I didn't realize it was like basically like it could be fucking.
It's whatever tree the AD is picked.
Whatever's available.
I didn't realize that.
Douglas fir.
And if you go through out in like the Southwest, some of theirs are going to be made of fiberglass.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Because it's the only thing that holds up over time.
I didn't know. I basically thought it was just basically like a makeshift, something they had taken. They made it like a log, basically, and then you're like, okay, it's nice and straight.
Texas has got a few of those they've made out of 2x4s that they've literally wood glued and stuff together and then shaped. So you really do have.
That's what I'm saying. So I kind of just assumed it was that way, and it wasn't, which is great because, like, for me, there was the challenge of my first 2 attempts for it, I didn't even get it in my hands.
Yeah.
So I had like, I still, it's funny because I still have tack on my hands right now, but I put so much
I have some
tack.
stuff in my truck that can take that off.
I had so much tack in my hands that I was trying to, once I got to the bottom, to kick it up to my hands. Because my hands were so tacked, they were together so hard that I couldn't like get my hands underneath. Yeah, so like twice, Felicia was like, "Get the fuck out of the way," because I kept trying to be like, "Oh, I'll just
The
fucking
judge says bail. Get the fuck out. You're over. It's done.
I just kept trying to like. Once I like would miss it and it would like sit in the ground, I was like, "Oh, I'll just muscle it and get it back into my hands." And she was like, "No, you just gotta get the fuck out of the way." And she told me it was because like once it lands, it could come back and just fucking.
Well, so
it'll pop up in the middle, or if you try and dump it behind you, it'll slap you on the backside of the shoulder. It'll get really.
Right, and on that first one, we didn't do a good job explaining how to like really get away from it. Because you dropped it, and
you typically don't have to do that in pro class.
See, you didn't. We gave him a crash course.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't enough.
My first attempt at holding a caber was my first attempt.
Because when you bailed on it, you dropped it down and you stood there, legs just spread. And I was like, God, no, he's going to be one ball
just
man
asking
now.
for it. Just asking for it to kick me in the dick. Yeah.
I think you got better on the second bail.
Yeah, I got better on the second one.
Chubby used to have diamonds.
Yeah, exactly. And then on my third one, I finally got it up, and then I kind of was like, it was squirrely, so I was kind of like fidgeting with it, and then I took like maybe
you got a couple.
I was just saying
and
three or four steps, and then I just said fuck it, and I snatched the hell out of it, and then it didn't topple over, but I think it got 50 degrees or so. Do you have?
You guys have
40 degrees.
40 degrees. Yeah.
We had Felicia with her expert eye.
Exactly. Yeah.
From behind?
Yeah, she gave me a 90 from behind. So I don't know.
A 90 from behind.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that video.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a pretty good one. I have it saved on my phone. Yeah, so basically the third one, I just ripped it. It was 40 degrees, and it wasn't. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? It's just
that's just your third one. You don't.
It's my third one ever. And Jacob made a good point. He was like, once you've had like 100 hours of trying this and shit's a lot
honestly,
different.
cabers for my money are the most unique one.
There were two events today that like legitimately didn't worry me, but I was like, okay, they could be really difficult. It was the caber and the sheath.
Yeah,
because they were just
as
so
far as
complex.
unique to the sport,
exactly.
those are
the ones I knew going in that you're going to have the most trouble with.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like the fear of stabbing yourself with the fork, and caber just being so unique. I never thought too much about it until I started talking to other people.
I've never thought that much. Period.
Well, they say like caber is so unique that no one from other sports like has any comprehension of it. Like they just don't get it. And I was like, really? And like this is the only sport that I've done. So I'm like, well, you figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah. And then it's also the one that's the most unique game to game.
Right.
Like the only way
that's because it changes. Yeah. So the sheath, you have your own fork, basically.
Yeah. You can control some elements of it, and you can get a relative idea for, hey, on square bales, I can usually throw around this, and on the saggy ones, I can, you get a good. Whereas a caber is just a fucking tree.
Yeah.
So
it's
unless you've thrown at that place's caber before, or you've thrown a lot of long whippy ones, or no taper ones, or like it's just
you got to compete a bunch to understand what a caber is going to do when you run with it.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
because like you can get a good idea if you've thrown 100 cabers.
Yeah,
you got a pretty good idea of like what it's going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how fast you and you get 3 attempts, so you fuck up the first one.
You can adjust.
That's
what I did today. I didn't turn my first one, and I had to adjust, and the next 2 turned. It was fine. But it's if you haven't had time throwing cabers, there's not a lot you can do to simulate that.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, like, with them being so long, right? If they were short, like if it was like, let's say it was like a 10-foot caber or something like that, it's like, you could fucking.
It's got to be 200 pounds then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Otherwise, it's just everyone can do it.
Flip it, like it could probably flip without hitting its head, right?
Honestly, I just want a long one that is tapered.
Yeah,
like we had the opposite. We had a crazy long stick, but it also still wasn't tapered.
Yeah,
like it was this big at the bottom and this big at the top, and there was and I was like, can't get any speed into the top end of this thing. It was a bitch.
So that's the challenge with it too, right? Is like the way you hold it, right? You've got to be able to get it to get it leaned forward enough that it gets to go, because it's like if you have it tucked in your neck and it's behind you, because this is kind of what happened once I tucked it in my third one, I picked it up and I was like, oh shit. Like I was going back, and then I had to go forward to get it to flip, and so it's like you got to get all these variables involved, right? So Like I said, that is one of those events that like it's another one that I was like, fuck, if I'd have had 3 more attempts, I'd have had
And you get 3 more at your next game, but it'll be a completely different game.
Exactly.
It's gonna work out.
Exactly.
Yeah, just chasing that dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so did you go to Hammer after Caber?
No, after Caber it was Win over Bar.
Of course, why would you?
Yep,
It
Win
was
over Bar.
definitely going to be Wob.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so confused.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So the whole
Josh is out of the
games-
room now. What the fuck were you doing, Josh? No, I'm just kidding. It was great.
The whole games, we were kind of being led around. And this isn't her fault, but by Felicia, because Felicia was like, "Hey, listen, let's go places that there isn't anybody involved." Right?
Our judge did the exact same thing. I think
Exactly.
it was
It's like once you had like an open station, it's like let's go fucking do it real quick. So it's like,
well, she was driving us there, so we're not there for 10 hours.
Did you guys take lunch?
We nibbled on some stuff.
Yeah, we kind of just nibbled the whole
snack
time.
or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was telling me that like there have been games, and I've experienced this myself, where like if the judge isn't like aggressively trying to get you to the next thing, they're wandering off.
Yeah.
Well, and the athletes
Dude,
would do it
that
too,
was
so
me and
you gotta be on
Savannah.
top
We
of us.
had a smaller class, and I ended up we'd sit for 40 minutes in between events because we just didn't go anywhere.
So, sometimes I enjoy that,
Yeah.
depending on the size of the field. Like I don't mind chilling out for a while, and like because there were times when we're waiting for the Highlander people to finish up with something, and we're sitting for 15 minutes, and I'm okay with that.
I mean, like when they were using the wing trig, and I had to go throw on a standard. No, I'm just I'll stop bitching at some point. Josh left the room, and now it's.
Oh, you gonna throw in a straight trig? Oh no.
I was really looking
honey.
forward to it.
Oh, honey. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like I was back in the southeast. What the fuck is happening?
Wing trigs are legit for sure.
Yeah.
They're nice. I like both.
Yeah.
And I like throwing on both, but I don't get a lot of wing trigs where I throw. So
Me neither.
I was looking forward to it. I was like, ooh, wing trigs.
Yeah. So like,
And then they take us over there. I'm like, that's a 4.5 foot piece of wood. What are you?
yeah,
You're gonna paint the wings on?
Yeah.
What do we?
Yeah, so for here, like something that I was looking forward to were wing trigs because I don't get them often.
Yeah.
I like literally have to travel like out of state. I gotta go across the country to hit
Yeah.
wing trigs, and long cabers because in the Midwest, like it's cedar trees that you just cut out of the pasture, let sit out over over the summer, and that's where we use them.
Yeah.
And they're different every year because we break them because they're fucking cedar.
Because they're
Yeah, exactly.
cedars.
Yeah,
There's one
tall
guy
shit,
who does equipment for a lot of games. Shout out Doug McDonald. He's had cabers for like 20 years. Like he went to Colorado back in the day. This is how I understand. He went to Colorado and got a bunch of cabers, and he's only lost like 2 or 3 of them.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they're all
Good for him.
fucking good.
Yeah,
they're the best cabers.
And they hold up that well. They're
Yeah.
obviously good cavers,
Because they're size appropriate for the class.
Yeah, weird how that works.
So we went to Wob
Yep,
after
yeah.
that, and I unfortunately bombed, which was shitty. But what happened was we started at 13, which I know is a shitty height, but every single attempt I had it hit the bar. So it wasn't like I was like throwing it. It was just kind of like 13, and I was throwing it 7 feet in the air. They all kind of hit the bar. So it was more of a technical issue, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, Felicia mentioned this, I was like throwing to just my arm, right?
Yeah.
And Jacob made a good point. He was like, you're just kind of squatting down, just kind of like trying to fucking jerk.
Which you
it.
see a lot of people who are strong but haven't thrown wob before.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
the way they end up doing
And that's kind of what happened, right?
If you were 6
'Cause you
foot
think
5,
up,
that
down.
might have worked out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But being
Sean did that today to me, and he beat me at wob because he is 6'5". Yeah.
So I hit the bar every time, and that's another that is there's like probably 4 events that I'm like, fuck, if I'd had like 3 more attempts, I would have got more, but it is what it is. And like I said, it wasn't so much the weight of
If
it.
only you were friends with Matt Vincent and could have
Exactly. If only
Yeah.
I was friends with Matt Vincent and could have just trained with him before.
Yeah,
But
weird.
But yeah, so it wasn't the weight of it was just more the technical aspect of
Yeah.
it, which is like I mentioned earlier.
Well, it's another
a
one.
cool
You
part
think,
about it.
56 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I've cleaned way more than this is a
Exactly.
triple extension. What's
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then you
What's
try
the
to do it, and you're
problem?
like, oh,
You're
it's
like,
on a
oh,
chain,
it's
and it's
fucking-
one-handed, and it's weird, and I'm in a dress. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening?
I'm in a mini skirt, so fuck.
Yeah, fuck it.
So unfortunately I bombed out of that, but it's cool because I do the wob, like exercises like the wob for training, but obviously I'm doing them wrong. Because the way I do the wob is the way I do that stuff
Yeah.
for training. So now I can take that and bring it to training.
Man,
Well, okay,
if
fuck.
I had a nickel for every new thrower that'll come and be like, oh, it's like a kettlebell swing, I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
And that's the way I do it.
It's
I'm like,
not.
I do like a kettlebell swing. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, that's how I train. And now it's great that I'm like, oh, fuck, no. So now I'm going to
Yeah.
do, like, my training like I should be doing.
Yeah, if you've ever, like, only cursory seen wob, you see a guy with one hand that goes between his legs and comes
Exactly,
out, and
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
yeah,
like, oh, yeah,
kettlebells,
fuck.
got that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
there's like 6 other things going on here, man, that it's
I
not...
had this stupid fucking monkey brain looking like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I'll just grip with my arm. So, Yeah, so that happened, and then after that we went to...
Or hammers after that.
Well, no, I did the stone.
You did the
weight,
stone,
yeah, but then we went the hammer. The hammer I felt like went pretty good.
Yeah. It sounds like you figured that one out after a certain point.
Which is funny because I told Jacob I haven't really done much.
And you're throwing no blades, I'm assuming. Right?
Yeah, I do sneakers. Yeah, so the ones I'm wearing right now.
Sneakers all day. Good.
Yeah.
Solid choice of footwear.
Exactly. Yeah, just running shoes.
100%.
But basically, what happened was that I told him I was like, I've never thrown like an actual hammer.
Yeah, like a
it's
solid
like
handle,
like a track hammer,
yeah.
right? So like a a wire on a handle with a ball at the end. But I've thrown the weight, not for distance, just for training, for rotational power. And so I kind of had an idea of how to because a lot of the training that I do
how
with
to
the
transfer
weight,
left to right. And
exactly,
up. Yeah,
it's more just kind of like a turn and toss, which is basically the hammer for the violin. It's basically just like multiple turns and toss.
Yeah.
So it was
at its simplest form. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
it's
everything
not like
can
it
be
was
boiled
easy,
down
but-
to lows, highs, and where you pull. Like that is the
It
entire
really
sport.
is.
Very fair.
In layman's
If you-
terms, it really is. Yeah, but so what happened was that for the hammer, I just basically kind of figured out that I should be kind of letting it go where I should be letting it go with the weight that I normally throw. And so it was good because the heavy one went pretty well, and the light one I kind of torqued on it. But all of them obviously were still kind of
Where'd they end up going distance-wise for you?
What was my heavy you had?
So
right there?
heavy was 68 and 5. Or no, 74.
Yeah, okay.
So 74 was on your
I
third
think
one.
it was yeah. And then my light was I think 102 or something or
Something like that.
103 maybe. I forget what it was, but I mean, at the end of the day, it was me.
Yeah, it was 103.6.
Nice, yeah. So it was close. So basically, it was. But what they were me, bicep curling, and you just fucking trying to crank.
And this is what I told Tony before he was done doing the stone throw. Was that his wines are gonna be dog shit, but I know he's gonna know how to finish.
Yeah,
and because I just assumed as a shot player you've dabbled
exactly.
in the hammer throw, but you haven't. But the weight throw is very similar.
But remember, we talked about this at the brewery too. It's the concept of it's not just triple extension; it's the concept of turning your hips.
Yeah,
that I understand.
everything's from the hip.
Pushing power into an implement is pushing power into an implement.
Yeah.
That's why I say you could boil down everything other than caber, sheave, and wob.
Yeah.
Into relatively similar elements.
For sure.
They're applied differently, but at the end of the day, you're accomplishing the same goal.
Right.
They aren't turns; they're all actually linear movements in some kind of way.
Yeah,
That's what you're trying to accomplish. Because if it was all turns, it wouldn't fucking go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But the most beautiful thing about him throwing hammers was the fact that when he was
The most beautiful thing about his 68-foot heavy hammer.
Right.
No, it's 74. Don't you
I'm
fucking
talking about the 103,
care.
the 103 light.
Oh, okay,
That's
the
what-
103 light.
was the fact that when he was doing his wines, right, it's very bicep, we're just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
curling around ourselves.
Yeah.
But when the finish came, when it hit that low point on the right side, he stretched his arms out and
Yeah.
they finished long.
Imagine if you had done that the whole
it's
time.
Nuts.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Yeah.
He's just well, that's how you release a thing.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
long
Yeah,
arms.
exactly.
I don't know how to do this, but it's the long arms at the end.
Yeah, and I do. I mentioned this earlier to Jacob. I do a lot of coaching in my off time, and one of the things I always tell my athletes is long is strong. And it's funny that I tell them that, but I still get all fucking.
Well, it's the outside of the record, man. That's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
outside's
Yeah,
going way
yeah.
faster than the
Yeah,
inside,
yeah,
even though it doesn't look
yeah,
like it.
Yeah. So, but it's funny that I still understand that concept no matter what. Once I have to clean and pull, it's okay, I get long, and then I get going. Yeah.
My judge said something to me today. I took my second heavy hammer throw, and he's like, "I've never seen that before." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Your right foot came out, not your left." I'm like, "Well, that's the hip I'm trying to push around." He's like, "I've never seen that." I'm like, "I don't know who you've been watching throw a hammer, but I could have sworn I was trying to move my right hip."
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Just because it's an audio medium, he stood up and thrusted his
Yeah, I
hips
did.
and plunged
Right
us.
at both of these grown men. And
It's a high level.
no
I'm not
one looked
complaining.
upset.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that
He
out there.
stood up, and I was basically mesmerized, and I was
He
watching.
measured
his
it in
hips.
millimeters.
Yeah, I stood right at the 103 millimeter, dude.
Yeah, I had a measuring tape at millimeters.
It's
and
a
it
solid
was,
95 millimeters right now. I've had a couple beers.
It was definitely above 5. So
Yeah,
it was
100%.
good. Yeah.
So, all right. So hammers, not horrible.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
Connected
okay.
to him in the finish.
Yeah,
that's,
got second at the light
Yeah,
hammer,
on
which
the light
is very
hammer,
chill.
yeah, which was cool. Yeah, and then after that we did the sheath, and the sheath was, like I said, that was, other than the caber, was the one that I was kind of worried about because it was just
it's a pitchfork.
Well, it's just so.
Whose fork did you use?
Tony's.
Use Tony's.
Yeah, he's Tony's. Yeah.
He didn't like mine. He didn't
No.
like mine.
I actually enjoyed yours more, but you were going last, and I honestly, out of respect for Jacob, I didn't want to fuck with your hand or your sheath fork with you going.
Nothing can mess up Nancy too.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a bad bitch. Okay.
I literally just used Tony's because I figured he's probably trying to go for something big. I didn't want to fuck with it. No worries. But basically, I just used Tony's, and I bombed out of that, unfortunately, too. But the sheath was also, it's funny, it's just like the caper. It was like if I'd had 3 more attempts,
Yeah.
That's
how I felt about mine today, man.
It was the same kind of thing, like with the weight of a bar. Like I hooked one, my first one hooked real far because I didn't know how to fucking do it. And then my second and third hit, of course, the fucking crossbar the whole time. So it's just one of those things where it's like you just have to have more time under your belt. You can't just like pick up a fucking pitchfork and be like, I'm going to just throw 28 feet.
And also, like, the really fun, if you ever really delve into this, it's the really fun of, like, oh, these 4 things are going really well, and these 2 things are holding, and this one thing is just in the fucking shitter right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
We don't talk about that one. We just move on. Yep.
Well, you know what's funny? That's shot putting to a T, too. It's like, you'll be like, like 8 different things going on. 6 of them are good, but these last 2, what the fuck? I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing here.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's all of the events.
Yeah, so all the events, like I said, I would say overall, definitely if I gave myself a letter grade, probably A+. I'd say
Hell yeah.
A+, yeah.
I'd say that, I'm probably going to be a steadfast on the circuit now.
100%. Nothing's stopping them.
But honestly, I mean, that's the thing. I mentioned this a lot to a lot of athletes that were mentioned. Like, they talked to me throughout the entire games, and the big question wasn't, the question I got most wasn't just like, hey, how are you doing? It was, hey, are you enjoying it? Because I think the biggest thing that most athletes were questioning was, hey, are you going to keep doing this or not? Mm-hmm. And the whole thing I told them was like, I'm just having a great time. Like, I'm enjoying myself, and I'm just like really, really enjoying doing this. And that's not to be saying like, hey, I'm just enjoying my time. This is just kind of like a shit sport. I don't really care. It's like, no, I'm enjoying myself, and I want to be better at it. It's making me want to do it. Because some of the questions I got asked too was like, how are you holding up? Are you going to want to do this again? And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Well, because it's hard, and you're
that's
kind of
what
guy
saying.
like you've pursued hard things for a long time.
100%.
So someone throws a hard thing in your lap, and you're like, well, I'm not no bitch. Like, I'm not going to back down.
Speaking of throwing hard things in your life.
Exactly. Yeah, 3 guys in a fucking hotel room. Yeah, exactly.
We're down to 3 mustaches here, fellas.
There might be a lot of things in my lap. So it's like it being a competitive athlete. You look at it like, you never want to leave anything you're doing as a competitive athlete like, I just felt shit about it and I don't care. It's like, no. Once you leave something you feel like you didn't do that well, as a competitive athlete, I want to fucking do it.
Oh, it makes you want to, 100%. It's everything. Even when I started as a B, I was like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to fucking mop that. I'm relatively strong. I've been practicing. Yeah. And I took like 5th, and I was like, fuck.
That's what I mean. Like, I never touched any of these implements, and now I'm like,
did you start as a B?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're so cool. I got second.
Yeah, I didn't start as a pro.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've also never been to the Olympics.
Who does that?
That's fine.
Who starts as a pro?
You gotta travel to that place called Tokyo.
I've been to some World Cups just for other made up sports, so it's fine.
World Cups for rec sports kind of thing.
Yeah. It was Moss wrestling. It's a real sport. It's just a real fake sport.
He won the Turkey Bowl
I did.
Cup.
I didn't win. I fucking failed more, but I went.
Yeah. But that's like the beauty of Highland Games is the fact that like there's 9 events and like on your first day out. Like I know it was for me like some events were like halfway decent. Like Sheaf wasn't like the worst thing I've done in my life, and it felt pretty natural for me to do it for some reason. But some of these other ones, I was like, I gotta get better at this. Like, and I never had a competitive bone in my body. Like growing up, like I skateboarded, so like I didn't compete with anyone on anything. And then as an adult, like you get in the Highland Games, and
skateboarding, selling drugs, and don't have a job. This is all fucking textbook.
It's a homeschooling dad. That's my job, and I throw, but that doesn't pay. So it is what it is.
Yeah, just homeschool now.
That's true.
I mean, if you love your kids, I guess, but whatever.
It's kind of weird. But
I've worked for the people.
Honestly, it seems a little gay.
I work for the people, and the people are 10 years old. So.
Come on, dude.
You got to get over that.
Yeah.
How many jokes have you made about your dead relatives today? Because I'm on like 10.
Usually
it's suicide jokes on this podcast, so we're actually trending in a positive direction.
I had one.
I haven't threatened to off myself once.
Yeah.
But no, it's true. I mean, like, you can kind of have... you can have an event that you're like, fuck, I just didn't do that well. And you can make up for it in other 8 other events. And
But if you can be balanced across all 9 all day...
Oh, God, yeah. That's what I'm
Like
saying.
Who can do that?
Like, so it... Technically, I did today. It's just the trouble was Sean was also balanced across all 9 and this much better all day, and it made it really hard to fucking beat him.
But that was really cool because one of the things that we did was we were always kind of like... One of every event we did was kind of right behind I know you have a problem with me saying this, but the Masters Elite class.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, you said it was just Masters or not.
No, it's for rankings. This is just because we've been going through that with Heavy Athlete of trying to make people understand that like flights and classes are different. You can have a flight of Masters Elite and a flight of Masters.
All I'm saying is
your rankings are Masters. You're in a Masters class.
You're a Masters class, but those guys were good Masters.
It's the same thing with lightweights. There's no lightweight elite. It's just
you're lightweight.
On the
There's no
database,
such thing as
lightweight.
A, B's, and C's. I'm just an AM.
Yeah.
It's just you don't put me with C's because like it feels mean.
Yeah. But it'll hurt some feelings.
And I'm also going to shit talk the whole time. You're not getting it easy just because you're a C. I'm going to fuck with you.
You're always going to punch.
I made a lot of fun of a lot of people I'd never met before today, and everyone was a great.
I watched you do it. I was surprised.
Yeah, look,
I'm surprised.
I'm gonna drive.
Respected.
I'm gonna drive back to Virginia after this and never see any of them again.
Exactly. No, but
that's the move.
The coolest part
harass them on social media.
The coolest part was that those Masters athletes, some of them have been world champions before.
Oh yeah,
like,
I mean, and it really was like. I know you weren't in the sport, but I mean, you had Zolk and Zachariah and Sean and
but
Mike.
What I'm saying is that it was cool to see these guys be well versed at everything. Like all those guys were like pretty good at everything.
Yeah,
like, there wasn't like I know that Zolk and stuff is a really good weight over bar guy, but like he was good at other shit too.
He's not bad at the rest of them.
No, like his sheath was really good. I mean, like he did really well. So it was cool to see the difference in it because like at the end of the day, people need to realize I came here to throw the stone. Like, I didn't come here to do
I think we did. We all saw the meme about the Godfather and the cannoli.
Yeah. But that's the thing is I think people think that, like, I came here... I didn't even know I was doing the full fucking event till I showed up, and he was like, yeah, you should do the full thing. I was like, all right, fuck, so I'll just do it. Yeah. I literally came here to,
otherwise it technically wouldn't count.
That's what I'm saying. I came here to do the stone and kind of fuck around. And then it was like, hey, no, you should do the full thing. I was like, all right, well, fuck, I'll try it. So
you're here.
Kind of like,
you flew halfway across the country. You might.
And that's the thing. Like, and that was the thing is I was already having such a good time that I was like, they were like, hey, we're going to do the weights. And I was like, I don't fucking do them. And then, like, I was just kind of like, I'm like, fuck, I'll just do the whole thing. I did play. You're like, you're already knee deep into it. You know what I mean? You're knuckle deep into the fucking thing. You might as well just fucking go full bore.
Go on.
You might as well. You're knuckle deep. You might as well just put your dick in. Let's be honest. Yeah, let's throw all the cards on the table.
Just the tip is for teenagers.
Yeah. I'm not soaking, okay? I'm not Mormon. I don't put the full dick in.
It's not the Italian way.
Exactly.
I hear.
I'm a good Catholic boy. We fuck for real.
Ask for forgiveness later. All right. So, I mean, that's your recap of your day.
Yeah.
The floor is yours. I mean, the rest is...
no, I mean, like...
You're on the premier Highland Games podcast, and by the premier, I mean the only one.
And we've mentioned
this. I don't want to say it, but there is another one out there.
We've mentioned this.
Across the pond doesn't necessarily... It's different. We're in 2 different regions.
I mean, there's a guy named Patience Sinclair. That's 2 first names.
And it is. It's fair. Yeah. No, he'll listen to this, and he's been actually really nice, and we're trying to link up.
And this is
I love that guy. He gives me tons of good advice. Huge advice on my weights, and it's great. A ton.
And that's kind of what I'm like. One of the reasons why I did this podcast is a massive audience of like I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 people,
give or take, which is the bulk of this sport. I mean, let's be honest.
But I mean, like honestly, like. And I've said this so many times today. The coolest part of today was getting to meet guys like you and do shit like this.
I'm sorry.
And like fucking no, seriously. Like I'm like jokes aside. Like this has been a really enjoyable experience.
Sweet.
For me, like I said, I do so much of this individualistic sport of just like I'm just fucking in tune with myself.
But you hear a lot from the track and field guys. It's very isolated.
It's isolated. I travel the world alone for the most part. Like I just do so much stuff alone that it's great to kind of finally do a sport that feels like a community.
Yeah.
Granted, when you're like a top 10 guy in the world at shot putting, you see the same guys every week. And it's cool because you have a camaraderie with them and you have a friendship. I have friendship with top guys. Ryan Krause is a good friend of mine. Joe Kovacs is a good friend. Tom Walsh. These guys are like top 3 guys in the world.
Yeah.
They're good friends of mine, which is cool. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
The guys who are on the
Cruiser? Is that
The guys who are listening definitely know who that is, and so it's cool to have friendships and stuff like that, but that's also what I've mentioned is individualistic people, right? Mm-hmm. So it's cool now that I come to these games and stuff like that, and I feel like my dad called me after the games. He was like, "Hey, how'd it go?" and everything, and the first thing I told him was like, "Fuck, I made so many fucking friends today." Like there was just so many people that I was like, "God damn!" Like everybody just asked me how I was doing, if they like could take a picture with me. It was fucking cool, and you just don't get that in track, right? Like everything you do is kind of like. I show up, I do my job, I go home, I travel to the next one. It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. And here is like, no man, this is like a festival. It's like where everybody wants to fucking have a good time. We're having a good time in between events. It's not just kind of like a, hey, I'm here to just I'm just trying to fucking win this thing. I don't care. It's like, hey, I mean, there's aspects to performing.
Oh yeah, I don't want to lose.
But at the end of the day, too, it's like, you know, if I'm having a shitty time doing it, then this isn't what the fuck I'm doing, right? Yeah. Like I'm not in this for that. You know,
and it really is one of the most, like, the after parties for games tends to be one of my favorite things. Like, especially when you go out of town. At the time, everyone just ends up at the hotel pool
for sure,
drinking beers and hanging out and talking. And
well, you meet people for who they are too. Like that's the thing too. Is like I feel like even in the Highland Games, you're meeting these people as Highland athletes, not as just like fucking who you guys are, right? Like, and that's the coolest part is I'm sitting here fucking doing this podcast with you guys, but like even at the after party at the brewery, it's like I'm meeting you guys for who you are. I get to know so much shit about you guys that I would
you know more about me than you wanted to.
I know more.
I learned a lot.
You know what's crazy is I know more about you guys from a day of fucking Highland Games than I know about guys that I've competed with for years. For years. Like, I've thrown shot put with for years. I know more about you two. And it's been fucking essentially hours, right? It's like, seriously.
Some people would say that I have some sort of problem. Yeah. It's a disorder.
It's problems with, like, air quotes.
Yeah, exactly.
Call it a problem.
So, yeah, that's like, if there's anything I could say, and I, kind of wanted to do this while Josh was in the room, but I told him this 10 fucking
times.
I'm
assuming he'll listen. I don't actually know. But
I told him this 10 times. Like, I just thank you guys for allowing me to do this because I know that like there are, and you guys don't have this, but there are some times when you're a professional at something, there's an ego a bit to it, right? Where you're like, I don't want this fucking guy who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing to come in. And it's like, it's cool to be like, hey, we have this guy who's really elite at what he does that wants to try this, and you guys are like, fuck yeah. Because there are a lot of sports that be like, fuck that, no way, no chance. And there's a lot of guys, and you guys are like, hey, no, we want to try that out. We want to see who he is as a fucking dude, and it's like that's what I'm saying. So I'm like really thankful that you guys like just allowed me to do that because it's not commonplace everywhere. It really isn't.
100%. I was excited for it. I was like, oh, we're finally trying to bridge that gap a little because it needs to happen. Like if you want these games to be more than they are. And if you also want to give people who are just competitive and like to throw like another outlet to go do it, that's also fun.
Yeah.
Fucking why not?
Some of the guys that when I was throwing the open stone with the Highlander guys, they were asking me tips and shit about it, and it's because those guys want to be better at what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's cool to kind of like climb that ladder, right? I did that all day with Jacob and fucking Tony.
If you want to fix all my stones, by the way, you're welcome to.
Exactly. Really sweet. But I did that all day. Like, it's like you just want to be able to like live like as a community. You want to be able to do this together and be better. It's not just about like, hey, I'm just trying to fucking, And I know this could be different at the World Championship level, but like most festivals, and this is kind of how it is with most of these types of strength sports. It's me versus me. So, like, what I give you isn't going to affect what the fuck
you get the positive aspects of the indiviation from something like track.
Yep.
But you also get the community aspect.
Exactly.
It's a really nice balance between the two.
What I do
isn't going to affect...
Exactly. Right. Isn't going to affect...
Unless you happen to pass on weight over bar.
Yeah, exactly.
And then your judge says that a pass is the same as a miss. I wouldn't say that while Josh was still in the room, but then he left. And that's some shenanigans, sir. No.
Well, like even at like the championship level, like it's still the same group of guys who are just having fun, giving each other tips and fucking talking shit with each other. Like it we all want to be the number one. Yeah. But it's still a good day.
Exactly.
We're not.
And
I think everyone agree with that.
One of the things that I love that Josh touched on is the character aspect of it, right? Because like at the end of the day, I as a shot putter, right, as a pro athlete, I want people to fucking know me for Nick Ponzio as the man, not just Nick Ponzio as the good athlete, right? Like I don't want to
that lasts longer.
I don't want to just
that's what you
fucking
live with.
tiptoe around and be like, yeah, I guess I'll sign your shit. It's like, no, man.
Because if you're just the athlete, the second somebody comes along and outthrows you,
that's what I'm
like,
saying. But that's the aspect of it, right? At some fucking point, it doesn't matter. It's all gonna end. At some point, all of us in this room will never do fucking shit again.
Yeah, people die.
That's
some
what I'm saying,
stories.
yeah.
So, no.
But I mean, like, at some point, competitive, organized athletics will be over for all of us. We'll just be a bunch of fucking schmucks who have just lived our lives and we're at where we're at. Why do I want to just be confined and pigeonholed into being this, like, well, at one point this guy was really good at one thing, and that's all I remember him for. I'd rather be the fucking guy that, like, did all these strength sports and, like, created a ton of fucking relationships and shit by being a good person and enjoying myself that way, rather than being like, yeah, I was the number one guy in one thing and that's all I'm known for. It doesn't fucking make any sense to me. There's more to life.
Joke's on you. I'm gonna die on the field.
Exactly.
So, I don't know when.
I'm gonna kill myself the next game.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's the joke.
That's cool. That's cool that you want to be a good person and all, but like I'm dying on the field.
I'm committing Harry Carey with my sheet.
I'm doing weight over bar and making sure it hits me in the head.
I'm gonna lay down afterward and just pray.
For bar and close my eyes. Yeah.
Well, sweet. Then what's next? What's the focus going forward?
So I'm still right now. I'm in the thick of kind of heavy training for shot put, but
Okay.
I have my season towards the end of the summer.
I was going to say, when is the band done? When
in
are
August.
You...
In August. So I'll have a season from August to September. I'll have about a month and a half. But once that's over, I've already talked to multiple ADs from today, and I'll be doing, like, in October, November, and December, I already have games lined up.
Okay.
So October, I forget where it's at, but November I have Austin, and then December there's one in, I can't even remember, but there's 3 already I have lined up for the offseason.
Well, if you want 4,
well, that's what I'm saying. If you guys know them, that's what I'm saying. Give me.
it's literally me, my guy.
That's what
I'm saying.
Yeah. If you have recommendations for the off season, for like from September on, give them to me because I'm down. I'm totally down. Like I said, the lure's already in my cheek. I'm already hooked. So,
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm totally down for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We can make that happen.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It seems to be. It's not like there's tons of games, but there's enough to be like, hey, if you want to do one,
it's nice. And then, like, the boat we're in is all of ours we're trying to get off the ground. They're at venues that haven't been hosting them, kind of like what Josh is trying to do with NoFame, where they're not tied to festivals.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like,
and those are, like, if it's anything like today, I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah. One's at a brewery. You won't have to go anywhere to get the beer. It's fucking awesome.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
How convenient.
Yeah, it's... Man, somebody planned it
saying.
that way. That's pretty slick.
How to make this work?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hop on a plane.
Well, sweet, man. So,
well, thanks for having me on, man.
yeah, I was going to say, any parting words? Because, I mean, that's...
Yeah, and thanks for having me on. Anybody listening,
thanks for
follow
coming
me
on,
at Chubby Donos.
Yeah, anything else you want to plug other than that?
No, that's pretty much it.
Sweet.
That's all.
I mean, you're banned right now. What else?
Yeah.
No, it's...
Yeah, you can't watch me right now.
Yeah,
so
no, that's
fine.
it.
No,
You can just
whatever
follow
that
him on
happens.
Instagram.
Exactly. Follow
It's
me
probably
on Instagram.
something in his story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll find out when, I guess. So.
Yeah. As long as his phone's working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as it's plugged and charged.
Yeah, if you want to Venmo him to pay his cell bill, it's
Exactly. Yeah, all legal bills, because I did pay $20,000 for this fucking legal fee. Any sort of legal fees you want to help out with, I can take off Venmo.
Yeah. There's a GoFundMe set up.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you guys don't see right now, I have my hat out, so you can put change in there. Yeah. Any quarters would be much appreciated.
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool.
Sure.
Well, then, you know what? That was it. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, that wraps up another episode of the Going Rogue podcast. We got a couple more sponsors we're going to mention. If you like what we're doing and want to support us, the best way to do that is by supporting them. So please keep listening for just another minute or two. And thank you guys for being here. The one and only Badger Highland Games Supply. If you are looking for any and all equipment related to the Highland Games, reach out to Greg Martz. He runs Badger Highland Games Supply. You can find him on Instagram or Facebook by searching Badger Highland Games Supply. He's got a full price list, hammers, weights, sheaf forks, sheaf bags, anything and everything you could need. He's your man. The Battlefield Highland Games is being hosted by yours truly, October 19th this year in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Registration is live on heavyathlete.com. Lunches are provided, t-shirts are provided, awards will be provided. We're going to have all classes and hopefully all 9 events, and we hope to see you there.